Today's video is going to focus on hip strength and stability, specifically of the left leg in the windup, but it will touch on the right leg as well. So initially in the softball motion, you can see that right leg is responsible for creating significant drive, which is accomplished through the hip extensors. And then the left leg at left foot contact requires significant hip stability and strength to finish the throwing motion. So briefly on the right leg, you can see after the windup begins, she pushes off with her right leg using her hip extensors, and she's going to go into hip extension. And this is very good hip extension here. And then it's going to require similarly a forceful contraction of her left leg, which has been shown to have significant hip extensor activity as well. So once again, that hip extension on the right to that left foot contact. So today we're going to focus on this left foot contact. So as you can see, that knee is relatively extended and it allows that pelvis to rotate to the left. So here is before ball release, her left leg focus on. Focus on that stance of the left leg. It's relatively extended at the knee, and it's going to allow the more stability in that left leg is going to allow better pelvic rotation, and it's going to avoid losing any energy or inefficiency. So now this is after ball release, and you can see that left leg is still in a very similar position. So she has significant strength and stability, and that's why it looks very similar. So it's very useful now to add in a softball study that was performed by Gretchen Oliver, who's a very good softball researcher. Specifically, this study looked at position players, but it's very useful to compare to pitching motions. Specifically, we're going to focus on B and C, and we're going to focus on the left leg stance and stability. This is a chart that looks at muscle activity from the study. In general, the higher the bar, the better and the more muscle activity. We're going to focus on the second and third phase, which is the bricks diagonally, which are the higher charts. That is non-throwing glute max, or in a righty, that's your left leg glute max muscle activity. So you can see as the softball players go from foot contact on the left to throwing the ball or max internal rotation ball release, there's significant increase in glute max activity. So a significant glute max activity. And you can see here again from B to C, that leg is really going from a little knee flexion to knee extension, and that hip is remaining stable. That belt buckle does not move. So what happens is that left leg stability and strength allows a stable platform for the momentum to move up the kinetic chain to the scapula and eventually the arm. What this study found was players who had less torque and force in their lower body had to make up for that in their upper body, leaving them more susceptible to injuries in their upper bodies due to overcompensation. So one more reason why it's very important to have significant lower body strength and stability. Again, look at that left leg, look at that angle, and look at how little it switches between before ball release and at that stride foot contact to after ball release. So she has significant strength and stability in that left leg, which helps keep that efficient wind-up pattern and allow more energy to go up the kinetic chain to the scapula or shoulder blade and eventually to the arm, the hand, and then the ball. So once again, it's very important to have good hip strength, specifically in position players and in softball pitchers.